Going to be interesting to talk about some of these divisional teams because a lot of them have not yet played through 13 weeks.
No, they haven't. And we could start off with the AFC South, where that division is very tight. And the Colts still have to play the Jaguars twice and the Texans. The Jaguars have to play the Colts twice and then the Titans. And the Texans have pretty much gotten all of their division games out the way outside of one. That's going to be their Week 18 showdown against the Colts. This division is tough because it feels like it's going to come down to tiebreakers. At least when I was going through it, that's how I felt. I looked at the Colts schedule and their final record to me, I predicted them at 10-7. The Jaguars 10-7. The Texans 10-7. So this division is going to come down to tiebreakers, and if that's the case, the Texans right now hold a 4-1 division record with their last division game against the Colts. So at worst, they'll be 4-2, or they'll be 5-1 at best. It feels like even after the disastrous beat start to the season, the Texans, in my eyes, feel like the team that's going to win the division.
I agree with you because when you look at this Colts schedule after an incredible start to the season, it gets really tough from this point out. You got the Jags twice, you've got the Seahawks and the 49ers between, and then you have the Texans week 18. And I felt like earlier in the year, the Texans were kind of the team some people looked at and said, maybe this is the team that's going to fall off, miss the playoffs this year. But all of their losses were one score games. They're 0-5 in their first five. Now, in the last four, they're 4-0. And I don't think it's a surprise with their defense, which is arguably the best in football, and CJ Stroud coming back and the offense finding some symmetry with their younger playmakers, that this is a team that's kind of come together in the second half. And I also feel like another part of their struggles early in the year is that they're playing a lot of road games. So I look at this team and you highlighted the fact they have this tiebreaker, and I do have the most confidence in them winning the division. I have the Colts second and the Jaguars third.
The Texans are 4-1, and their last division game is at home against the Colts. They're in a really good spot. They have a championship level defense, and it's been the case all year. To begin the year, all of their games they were losing by one score to playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch on the Colts because they made an all-in move. And I feel like the Indianapolis Colts, after the hot start to the year, they traded for Sauce Gardner. They traded 2 first-round picks because they believed in the team this year, and they also believed in Daniel Jones long term. Daniel Jones gets hurt. He's not playing with a fibula injury. Sauce Gardner gets hurt. He's now going to be out a couple weeks with a calf injury, and you have to be cautious with those specifically. And you look at their record right now at 8-4, at the Jaguars, at the Seahawks, versus the Niners, versus the Jaguars, at the Texans. There is a chance the Colts do not make the playoffs after their hot start, after going all in on Daniel Jones and punting on a quarterback by trading 2 first-round picks. They're saying they might miss the playoffs, John. Things could not be going worse for the Colts if that is the case. To have such an incredible start and then to collapse down the stretch of the year, the star player you traded for gets hurt, and the quarterback you're banking on the last couple of weeks looks like the old version of himself and not this new reinvigorated version. I feel like right now the worst possible scenario is happening for the Colts.
And I agree with you. I do want to say Daniel Jones is an absolute warrior for playing through his injury right now because most quarterbacks would sit out. But this is somebody who's kind of playing on a prove it deal. He wasn't paid to be the long term starter, and he's fighting for his job even after that hot start to the year. I did this look at the Jaguars schedule, and when you see it, you've got two layup wins, layup, because the NFL, and the Titans week 18 and the Jets in 2 weeks. It feels like with the Jags, you play the Colts twice. If they split, I think you're going to be pretty confident in them coming in second place. But there's also a real chance, too, that they do beat the Colts in both games. I think they got, in many ways, fortunate that Sauce Gardner's injury wasn't an Achilles rupture because you look back at the replay and it kind of felt like that. He looks back to see if somebody kicked in the back of the leg. And so if I'm in Indianapolis, I'm going to play it as cautious as I possibly can be and not rushing back onto the field, given the nature of Achilles and calf injuries. So I think for the Colts, you did dodge a bit of a bullet there, but in the short term, you're probably looking at Sauce missing a couple of weeks, I would assume. And then on top of that, this offense is not playing at that same level. So the more you kind of talk about it, I think the Colts are more likely to finish in third place. And the AFC, you've got 5 to 6 teams all vying for that 6th and 7th wild card spot.
It was a gutsy move to go all in for Sauce Gardner because I feel like even when I look at the Colts team now, if they were fully healthy, I still wouldn't feel the most confident in them, their defense specifically, because they lack real pass rush. And a lot of that can be due to DeForest Buckner being hurt as well. And he was the interior pass rusher. He it took a lot of pressure off of Latu on the edge. And so I feel like the Colts really miss his presence. But we're looking at a team right now that its quarterback's future is an unknown. Are they going to pay Daniel Jones, or are they going to bring him back? What's the deal going to look like at that point? Because with the level of play that he's had this year, he's probably going to demand a pretty penny, maybe a 1 to 2 year deal at least, maybe like 20 to $30 million. But you trade that, and I still feel like you have holes. Like you still lack true pass rush. The receivers are good, but they're not great. There's not like a true game changer there. I like Alec Pierce a lot. He's a free agent
Yeah.
too. I like
He's gonna get
Pittman a
paid.
lot. I like Josh Downs a lot. I like Tyler Warren a lot. But like a true game changer superstar doesn't feel like it. Jonathan Taylor, teams have been able to put more of an emphasis on the run game to neutralize him. And we've seen that in the last couple of weeks. So it feels like the Colts right now, they have the toughest schedule without a doubt. We mentioned the 2 Jaguars games, the Texans, the Niners, and the Seahawks. That's why when I went through it, they're at 8 wins, and I kind of feel like it's going to be a struggle to get to 10. I think they're going to lose to the Seahawks. They haven't beaten the Jaguars at home on the road. They haven't beaten the Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014. They play them this week with Sauce Gardner hurt. And the Jaguars have a lot of injuries themselves. So these aren't 2 healthy teams playing against each other. The Jaguars have injuries on their offensive line. Trayvon Walker got injured as well. So it's going to be a feisty game, but that is history is not on the Colts side in that one. The 49ers are going to be tough. The Jaguars again are going to be tough. The Texans are going to be tough. And then the Jaguars, like there are some gimme wins in their schedule. Like you mentioned, the Jets and Titans, that's 2 wins right there. That gets them to 9 wins. That means they just have to beat the Broncos or the Colts in 2 of their matchups just once. Go 1 of 3, you can get to 10 wins. The Texans feel like the easiest one of all. They play the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Chargers. Those feel like 3 wins that I can just chalk up to them. And then you play the Chiefs and the Colts, a Chiefs team that has been up and down, that when they play them this upcoming week, they're going to have a plethora of offensive line injuries. And then the Colts, the final week of the season. If the Texans can win one of these games against the Chiefs this upcoming week or week 18 against the Colts, I feel very confident they can win this division with 11 wins. And they wouldn't even really need the tiebreaker. But there's no doubt about it that of these final teams in the AFC South, the Texans have by far the easiest schedule.